As I said earlier, this week, Oregon State's a team that, when you look at some numbers, they're kind of interesting. They have an offense that creates a lot of explosive plays. They've averaged about 32 points a game scoring. They've got explosive plays of 30 yards or more 20 times. So this team offensively does some things that can give you some problems. They have some players over there. They have some local players, by the way. Two receivers, I think Taylor Hernandez and Moore is a tackle for them. So they're local kids coming back home to play. That's always fun if you're a local guy to come back home and play in your hometown. So they're a team that, like us, is trying to win a Pac-12 game. And so I think it'll be a good contest for us. We know what's at stake. This is a game that we need to win. We lose 2 in a row. You need to get that winning feeling back again. And so we're going to have to play a really good game at home to win our first Pac-12 game.
One area specific that you felt needs to be consecrated in practice today?
I think for us, it's the details of doing the little things. I think we've been in 2 ball games now where errors by our own omission have been the problem. And you know, we showed some situations today. I always try to, it's called Situation Wednesday, and we show situations that take place in college football. We kind of rewind the clock on some plays, and we learn through that situation football. And we watched the Stanford-Oregon game, how that kind of unfolded the last 2 minutes of that game. We watched SMU in that game they played, how that kind of unfolded. So there's always some situations we can learn from in college football as well as pro football. So we always have some teachable moments on Wednesday where I actually put the tape out, show them the situation, talk about it. And I think it's the same with us. I mean, we're in certain situations and you got to make a play, you got to make a stop. That's what continues the drives on football offensively. That's how you get off the field defensively. And I think if you look at the last 2 ball games that we played in, we've had some moments where we didn't capture the moment. We didn't win. We didn't win that play, and that's what it boils down to. Right. Their status right now is I guess in the NFL you would call them questionable. Questionable in the NFL. Yeah, questionable. Yeah. Not probable. Questionable. Yeah. Well, you know, they're a team that they play the way they play. I mean, they've converted 6 out of 7 fourth downs. At times, the quarterback will punt the ball. They have a lot of trick plays. I mean, they do things offensively. Their coach Smith was a quarterback there. Now he's the head coach, so he has an offensive mind. They do some things similar to Washington. He was at University of Washington as well. So I think they'll look at them at the tape and obviously take some things that they feel they can do on us as well. So we got to be aware of that and be ready for anything.
Jalen Harvey didn't get a lot of reps at camp because he was kind of banged up, and then you had a bunch of guys kind of going there. What have you thought about his development?
He's done a nice job from being a wide receiver to coming over on the defensive side of it. It's very difficult to do that. And in the short time that he's done it, he's been pressed into a situation now that he's a starter due to some injuries, and good for him because he's available, and you have to be available in this game. And I think every game he gets a little bit better. You know, the sense of doing things opposite in what he's done before is different for any player. I mean, all of a sudden he was a wide receiver, now he's in the secondary, especially at safety. We ask those guys to do a lot, and I think the more reps he obtains in practice and in games, it helps him. But he's still growing. It's a hard position, that safety spot. It's because there's a lot of things we ask those guys to do, you know. And he makes some errors every once in a while, but he's good enough to understand when he makes the error, he wants to be corrected. He's a studier of it. You know, he studies a lot of film, so that's always good. We can get players to do that on their own.
Do you expect Daniels back in that position this week?
We'll see where he's at. I mean, he practiced a little bit today. We'll find out if he's going to be available or not. Obviously, he would be questionable as well right now going into this game. Yeah, they're a little sore, and so those are the guys that you basically, similar to the quarterback, you don't touch them. They practice, but you don't touch them.
But you're thinking they'll be good?
Oh yeah, yeah, they should play. Yes.
You guys have had a chance to get settled recruiting wise now, and maybe you have had a chance to get involved with higher level prospects. The program's recent history with the NFL isn't great, sending guys to the NFL.
Yes.
How do you deal with that, and how big of a role is that?
Well, I just think it's according to, you know, how you look at it. And I think for us, we say we're a pro model, and there's a reason for that. I mean, everything we do is similar to what the pro system and how they run it, as far as practices and meetings and things of that nature. It's also a place that we feel like we can develop players if they have enough talent that if they have an opportunity, they'll be well aware of what to do when they get there. And so I think that a little bit is our selling card that we use. I think my history of being in that league, I think helps somewhat as well. And so it's a process, you know, it's going out and getting some kids that have that ability. But when they come here as freshmen, they all think they're going to play in the league. I mean, I get that part. I thought the same thing when I was a freshman. I thought I was in high school that way, you know, but you figure it out pretty fast as you get to your sophomore and junior year. The reality sinks in too. And so I just think we want to get good players. If they have the talent to play at that level, they'll be coached in a way that when they get there, it'll be familiar. It'll be familiar to them. What we're asking them to do here as well as what they're going to ask them to do at the next level.
Do you think that's a sign of a healthy program?
I do. I just think anytime you get players that go into the league, young players like that. They look at that. They look at the schools that send guys to the league because every player thinks he's going to play in the league. Rightly so. That's their dream. That's their ambition. You know, that's when I went to San Diego State, being a transfer from Cal. That was kind of the school that all the double transfers and the JC guys went, knowing that they produced a lot of NFL players. And so there was a reason I went there now. I didn't go there by accident. I kind of knew where I was going when I left Cal. I'm not saying Cal didn't produce players either, but that wasn't a Pac-8 school back then. It was an independent, actually. But all the players that had come out of there, especially at corner and wide receiver and defensive backs and running backs, you went, that's the place you go. Because they train you to get ready for the National Football League, and that's what it was. I mean, it was, you know, that's kind of how it all worked out. He's been playing okay. He's another guy hadn't started, you know. So he started 4 games now, and good for him. I mean, you know, he transferred here from another school, and you know, was a guy that was in a backup role for the most part. Has been put in a position where he's a starter now, and I think every week he's growing at the position, and that's what our defense is. There's 9 guys over there that never started as a starter in college football, and so there's going to be some errors made, and you know it, but you got to live through it. And hopefully they don't compound themselves. They don't become a repeat offender. I always, you know, it's one thing about learning, but learn the lesson the first time. Hopefully you don't have to learn it 3 or 4 times after that because bad things happen. You know, especially in the back end. When you break down in the back end, there's nobody behind you to help you. It's a touchdown or a big play.
Yesterday, Gil said that it feels like you guys take 1 step forward and 2 steps back, and it's this tug and pull. So is it just a learning curve, or? It's
just as I said, when opportunities present themselves, you got to make them. And we played 2 really good defenses, and we were in 2 games where we got it to where we wanted it to be, where we had a chance, obviously, and just didn't make the plays. And that's football, you know. And when you make them, you're smiling and you're feeling really good. We make the plays necessary to beat Michigan State, right? We make them. 4th quarter, go down, win a football game. San Diego State, we fall a little short due to our own way of how we played in the beginning of the game, but we fight our way back. Washington, similar. We get it to the 4th quarter. We have a fumble prior to that. We felt like we had some momentum. We don't get off the field on 3rd down a couple times. They continue drives. We get the ball at the end and think we're getting to get off the field, and it didn't work for us, and we never got a shot at it. So that's football, you know. And when you have a winning record, or when you win games, you always look back and you say, well, we won this game by 1 score. and you look back at it and you go, there's 3 plays that we made that put us in position to win it. 2 or 3 plays we didn't make, we lose it.
Traylon Smith got a solid amount of action last week.
Yes.
What were you seeing from him in practice that inspired you to play him?
Well, availability. There's not like we have a lot of other guys left. Okay? That helps you. And, you know, he's played. He has experience. He's played in the game. It's a shame because he was having a pretty good football game. He ran the ball well for us, and he dropped it on the ground twice, and he knows he can't do that. He just can't drop it on the ground. And that's easy for me to say because I'm not the runner, but can't fumble the ball.
Coach, what about that hurling chain?
You'll see it in the weight room only going forward. Yeah. Short-lived. It's okay. Yeah. Great idea. Not on my watch.
Are you comfortable with the Keel consistently being back there on punt return, or are you just going to periodically because of his other importance?
Yeah, we would try to get him in positions where not so much when the team is backed up, but the decision making when they're inside the 50 punting. Now I say that and then he fielded one on the 5, right? But he can field the ball, you know, and I just think that we trust him. We got some other guys back there still trying to learn, and right now that's a tough position. I mean, we haven't been very good in punt returns, and we've had 2 young guys back there that have made some errors, and you know, we want to clean that up. And right now he's a safeguard for us. I mean, do I want him back there? No, not really. But he's smart enough to make good decisions, especially when they're punting from the 50 or in and they're pooch punting that thing. He'll make, hopefully, a good decision, and generally he does.
So we'll see him back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll see him back there. Yep.
What do you like about Paul Lucas as a
Well, he's got some speed, obviously, and you know, he's done that before. He was a former running back, and I think the more he gains confidence, the better he's going to be. This was a game where Washington was a game where we actually got the ball outside the 25 a couple of times. It was refreshing that our offense didn't have to start at the -15 and the -18. You know, that's hard to drive a field 85 yards and stuff like that. So I just think the more he gets confidence, it's good for him. And hey, he's a guy that came in the spring, was a DB, wanted to, you know, be a defensive back, and it didn't work out. He threw him over there at running back, and he was a scout team guy, and he worked his way on the special teams, and all of a sudden he's returning kicks. So it's good for him. Good work ethic. We reward guys that work hard. We really do. I mean, I just believe in any program. It doesn't matter if you're a practice squad guy. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman, if you're a walk-on guy. If you do what's required to play the position at a high level and you're the best player, you're going to get an opportunity here. I said that when I first took this job. I think sometimes guys think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm going to play the best players, the guys that work at it, and the guys that are invested and committed in it. They're going to get an opportunity.
Can you work in some fly swims with him too?
We have some things on the chopping board that, yeah.
Because I think he did some of that.
He can run fast.
Yeah.
Yes, he can run fast. And I think the more we open up our offense and become a little bit more dimensional, you'll see some other people doing some other things. Yeah.
Coach, Pro Football Focus had Karen Adams as the second highest ranked defensive back in the Pac-12 last week. Can you just talk to us a little bit about his development coming from junior college and then second?
Really has a good skill set, real good eyes, anticipates things well, and you saw that in JC. Wasn't a technician per se, just played on his athleticism and did a good job. I mean, he has some bloodlines that have played in the NFL, knowing his dad, and I know his dad. But he's a guy, I think, every week he gets a little more confident. And that's a good thing. You know, when I went to watch him at San Francisco City, that popped out on me real fast, that he plays the ball. I like guys that play the ball. You know, he's very aggressive. He'll go after the football. And I think in college football as well as pro football, the one thing that's hard to teach is defenders' ability to play the ball. He does that. He has the instincts to do that. I like guys that play with good eyes. You know, when you play back there, you got to have good eyes. A lot of guys that play back there have dirty eyes, bad eyes. Get you in trouble. He has good eyes. He has clean eyes. He sees things well, and that's good.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.